Welcome to my podcast story, the show where podcasters share the real journey behind their voices, from their first mic check to their biggest milestones. Every episode reveals the lessons, challenges, and breakthrough that shape a podcast star's journey. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I can't wait for you to hear today's story. Today's guest is Professor Dr. Anastassia Lauterbach, an AI strategist, global executive, and Global Hall of Fame honoree for business excellence. She has advised leading organizations across industry on artificial intelligence, leadership, and digital transformation. And today she's on a mission to make AI literacy accessible to families, companies, and classrooms around the world. She's also the creator of the Romy and Robbie AI Edutainment Universe and the host of the podcast AI Snacks with Romy and Robbie. Dr. Lauterbach, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. What's the name of you? I just read out the name of your podcast, but what's your podcast about?
So I produce and I create an AI literacy podcast. Romy and Robbie are two protagonists from my Romy and Robbie AI literacy book series, which is for the whole family. So Romy is the British shorthair cat, and his friend Robbie is a little android. So my book has several protagonists. Those two are the main characters, but there's another cat called Juliet or Julie. There's a pigeon called Galena and her daughter Gloria. There's a mom, there's a dad, and there's a girl. So this is the first book. And then there are a couple of secondary characters. I write a story in style of Winnie the Pooh. So obviously it's fun, a lot, it's humor, but everything what is going on in my story could be tracked to the real world science and the real world AI and robotic applications. And every fragment in the story is actually mirrored in the so-called Science Behind section. My podcast is part of the Science Behind section, where I translate AI and robotics from difficult to easy to understand.
Wow. The book inspired the podcast.
Absolutely. I started this podcast, so I decided to create a podcast around the 1st of April 2024, and today I'm publishing the episode 61.
Wow, congratulations on that. You described the podcast. I'm curious, what's the format of the podcast? Is it an interview? Is it audio fiction?
So I started mixing the individual conversations with founders, with scientists, with educators, and my own 30-25 minutes dialogue type of explanations about AI technologies. But now I'm doing just interviews because many people want to come on the podcast, and I have plenty of content. Sometimes I record an episode and I don't release it because it's not up to the expectations, but I'm improving more or less on a monthly basis. I first was not quite sure on the length of the podcast.
Wow.
I was doing like 1 hour, for example, but I collected feedback from now 6,000 people community, and the best length for everyone proves to be around 40 minutes. And this is what I'm sticking to. If I feel like, okay, so there's so much unsaid, then I ask my guest to do the part 2 of the conversation. And there are a couple of people who I am bringing twice or even 3 times on the podcast.
Oh. I love that. You mentioned you have 6,000 members of the community. I'm curious, is it like an email list? Is it like a group? Like what platform are these 6,000 people on?
So I can track analytics on podcasting platforms. Obviously, I exist on Amazon, Apple Podcast, on Spotify. I might exist on smaller podcasting platforms, but I can't track those. And I have an Instagram, which is approximately 16 months old. Those are 15.5 thousand followers. A lot of people are DMing me about episodes, asking questions. And then I have quite a strong presence on LinkedIn, though on LinkedIn I started as an executive. And first I was actually producing a newsletter focused on human leadership. So I started as a mentor, as a coach, and as a former C-level executive. And I completely moved into AI education due to actually my very first degree. So I studied computational linguistics. I started in AI in 1989. And post ChatGPT era, I decided to go back to my roots and actually teach the world about AI due to the insane amount of nonsense being spread about AI and robotic technologies. So that was the main motivation.
Well, already, I would say, okay, it's about 2 years now, 2024. The podcast has evolved from, what it was eventually, and now you're in the 61 episodes. I'm not exactly sure. Right now, you do interviews?
Yes.
No, but the title of the podcast makes it seem like it's like an audio fiction, audio drama.
So I'm tightening up the episodes to the book. And if there is some story to tell from the book, I might quote from the book. My very first episodes, at the end of the episode, a professional actress from the UK who is the voice of the Romy and Robbie universe, Susan Ford, was reading from the book. And this is how this title sticked to the podcast AI Snacks with Romy and Robbie. Romy and Robbie is my consumer-facing brand, so I am committed to bring understanding and knowledge of AI into 1 million families with the Romy and Robbie universe. And this is not a coincidence that I use the British shorthair as a character. And this is due to real-world data. 36% of the global internet traffic is driven by cat-related content. This is not a joke. It's a reality. So people love cats. And I love AI. I have nothing against cats. So Romy is actually my own British shorthair. And I decided to use him to tell AI-related stories. For example, if I can explain some basic technologies using, once again, cats or dogs, I will do it because this content sticks with people. If I just do math and statistics, probably a lot of people will get confused. And I'm really committed to translate some mathematical, statistical, linguistic concepts into the day-by-day language of random people, of teenagers, their clever parents, grandparents. And it's quite interesting if I look into who is buying the book. Quite a bit it's about grandparents. Because they would like to stay relevant and they would like to have a conversation around a dining table about AI. And sometimes they even prefer to read the book aloud to the younger siblings in the family, if they are siblings. So this is how actually right now this movement, evolves. Having said that, there will be 5 more books about Romy and Robbie. So I've just started writing the volume number 2. The volume number 1 is dedicated to quantum chipsets, quantum computing. And the volume number 2 is dedicated to linguistic, and my protagonists are going to translate the language of marine animals with the help of AI and Wolfram Technologies, which is a universe in itself.
Oh, I really love the concept of the show. I was about asking you what happens when, you get to a point where, for the first book, you've exhausted kind of like the chapters, in translating it into a podcast. Like what happens, and then you just said that you were writing other series of books, so there'll be a lot of episodes idea for a long time.
So frankly, I am not concerned that I will run out of ideas because just to stay relevant, I need to read approximately in between of 800 and 1,000 pages a week just to stay relevant. And some papers are really fantastic and they are tremendously new. And I need to really ponder about whether they have a place on my podcast or not. And some things are, let's say, small improvements, fixing small things, for example, improving matrix calculations in large language models. The density of those models, but there is nothing, let's say, outrageously new. And AI is still quite a novel technology, though it exists since the 40s of the past century. We need to move to very new architectures in AI. The nonsense about upcoming AGI stays nonsense. It's driven by the stories of those who spent trillions of US dollars on certain technologies which will stay vulnerable due to their technology architecture. When I talk about technology architecture, I am thinking about mathematics, so the foundation of these models. So the humanity, I'm absolutely convinced, will develop further architectures. They will find new ways to do hardware. For these reasons, my podcast will never run out of ideas.
Oh.
And AI is everywhere. It's in every business function. It's in every industry. And, to stay interesting for the readers, I can only have one major theme in a book. Like Robbie the robot would love to do more. He wishes an upgrade, so he would love to have a quantum processor.
Oh.
The second book, so there's a school project, but the girl and her friend Arjun, they would like to do something really novel and revolutionary because they are children and they would love to change the planet. So they decide to improve the system of forecasting of earthquakes and tsunamis in the oceans. And then they would love to ask marine animals about the upcoming danger. For these reasons, they need to translate the language of marine animals with the help of AI. And by the way, such projects, not to forecast tsunamis, but to understand animals, such projects exist. To my knowledge, there are 3 right now in the world. And I have access, for example, to the whole library of scientific papers and data in one of them.
Oh. I love the way you approached this from, it's different. The podcast is, there's so many other AI podcasts, but yours is just different. So it has a peculiar format, a peculiar style, peculiar approach that makes it accessible. I think that's the whole idea.
Yes.
Yeah, one of your goals is to reach a million people, right? To make them
Absolutely.
AI literate. I'm curious. The podcast, what's the behind the scenes? Are you the producer, the narrator, the writer? Like, how does an episode, a sample episode, how did the last episode get made from idea to eventually getting published?
So right now, and I'm not saying that I am at my benchmark of what I would love to have, but right now, per week, maybe I get 3 to 4 emails by some agents or by people. We would like to be on your podcast. In the majority of cases, I don't know who those people are, so I do my research. In case they build some AI, I look into the products, I look into what the company is doing. And frankly, if they are new founders, I do not care. So I would love just to understand that the technology has some sense and it might get legs. So the scalability is there. Even if they fail as founders, they might do something else with their knowledge. So I'm not promoting the company. I am promoting the knowledge, and my podcast is deeply educational. So I might, of course, ask, so what do you do? How do you build it? Yeah. What is behind the technology? How do you build, for example, your AI avatar? Are you using all the foundational models, or are you basing your technology on OpenAI technology? So blah, blah, blah. If there is some technology-led concept, then I will say, could you please explain, because my audience is not technical. Yeah. And in the podcast, if I cluster it, let's say holistically, I have right now 3 clusters of content. So one cluster is an explainer cluster. Okay. For example, Rob Lucasio is one of the first internet founders. So he created his first company before the dot-com bubble of 2000. So he's tremendously experienced. He went through waves of technology, and now he is doing one company, devices for children, which are disconnected from the web, but which utilize linguistic technology in a safe way, and kids can create their own content. So this is one conversation. Another conversation, so he has another company, which is like You Are AI, and this is more or less productizing you, making an LLM on top of your voice, utilizing your content. and then creating your digital self. So very different example. So we will chat first around this safe platform for children. What does it imply? What type of methodology does he use, for example, for kids to create stories? Is it doable at all? So we will chat about this, and then we will say, okay, so you went through all those waves of the internet development. How do you see what is going on now? What is your claim about whoever is talking about AGI? Are you kind of, subscribing to the claim that AI is so dangerous it might kill all of us? So I might go there, and then we have a conversation. But it's kind of, an explainer episode. Or, for example, Dr. Marshall Runge, he is one of the leading cardiologists in the United States, but he has just published a book on AI revolution in healthcare. He's tremendously knowledgeable because he's a dean of the Massachusetts Medical School, and he is the head of the Massachusetts healthcare system. So he's the main figure in healthcare system in Massachusetts, which is quite a big state in the United States. So he writes this book, he's coming on my podcast, and we're discussing really how is AI applied in healthcare. He's not an AI scientist, he's a cardiologist, but he introduces AI in every corner of the healthcare system in his state because it's simply helpful. And of course, he hears a lot, and he has experience with his peers, and he goes to the conferences, he learns himself. So it's just very interesting to talk to someone like him. Or another example, I'm bringing someone who's the head of data, so the executive vice president of data at Dun & Bradstreet. And we are doing a podcast dedicated to vectors.
Wow.
And I mean, we all went to schools, and obviously vector is something which is always mentioned in schools. But most people don't remember what a vector is. And this is tremendously important if you want to understand what is inside of ChatGPT. So if you think that ChatGPT answers to you, you're completely wrong. All AIs are frozen in space. So they are being trained and then frozen and shipped to the user. And what you do when you prompt is more or less to shift vectors in the semantical space of those models. So it's important for the audience to understand the basics of these technologies, because then they might reflect on their own expectations vis-a-vis AIs, and they might not be seduced to think that this is somehow.
Quick break. Before we continue, I'd love to invite you to join the My Podcast Story newsletter. Each week, I share highlights from our guest stories, behind-the-scenes podcasting tips, and resources to help you grow your own show. You can sign up at mypodcaststory.com/join. That is mypodcaststory.com/join. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I don't know, a creature, a being responding to whatever you are writing to it, So it does not know you are using a language. It does not have a concept of a human being. It simply does not have a concept of itself. And I planned to do more episodes on what might be other ways to come to a more general intelligence, because right now we still have quite narrow applications of AI. So narrow means, for example, it plays chess, it plays Go, it's doing X-ray assessment, so all those pixels which might signal cancer. But the same AIs won't compose music. They won't, I do not know, do some surgery related application in an operation hall. So they are kind of, one single purpose AIs. And for this reason, this generality, what mammal brains, not just human brains, are excelling at, it should be understood. When you understand it better, then you might adjust your expectations with the view of technologies. So explainers, the second bucket of content, because of this kind of, confusion around AI, this confusion is coming from somewhere. And it's not just because in the past 3 years, everyone is writing about AI, but because AI and robotics have been topics in books and in movies. And I've partnered with a professor of creative writing. Excuse me.
Yeah, bless
Creative writing, literature, and science fiction from the University at Albany in New York. And we are diving deep into one movie or a book. So, for example, we did Ex Machina, which is the modern tale of Frankenstein. So obviously, Ray Mulstock, this is her name, she will, really dissect what does it mean to write another Frankenstein myth in the modern fiction. And I might come in and say, look, so this type of a robot might exist, might not exist. So we are currently capable to do X, Y, Z. So I would kind of, put this fiction on the relativity map of the contemporary technologies.
Yeah.
And then we have a nice discussion. And my last bucket of content is dedicated to human excellence. So I'm convinced that in order to thrive in the age of AI, humans must learn more, do more, be better. And it requires not cutting edges and corners, but actually really invest on those 10,000 hours into becoming proficient in something, whatever it might be. If you are a medical doctor, probably you require to learn even more about medicine. Once you are really a professional, AI will enhance your capabilities and enable you as a human being. If you are a fantastic composer, a fantastic artist, AI might propel you even further to the new heights, but you're using this with purpose and you're understanding how to use it because you truly understand your domain. If you, let's say, do not know anything in whatsoever, AI might give you some hints, but it won't make a professional out of you.
Yeah.
And my fear is that people kind of confuse fluency with blabbery, because fluency sometimes might be empty and it might not truly have the real meat on the bone. It might not have real content. And for this reason, it will not, let's say, move you as a human being forward. And this is why I have a partner in crime, Yes Roderer, who is a former MD of the von Karajan Foundation, to talk to me about human excellence in the age of AI. For example, the 10th Symphony of Beethoven, which was written with AI, or the last Biennale on architecture, so from the past year, how AI became a partner of all the creators of this exhibition in Venice. So we might look into how AI might enable creativity and what type of AI tools might enable creativity. So we will be very concrete in really quoting those tools and describing how they work. So those three buckets of content, and obviously it's not very scheduled in terms of I would love to produce 10 of those this year. So we're kind of,
as it happens.
we're just making it happen. And I'm currently producing one episode per week. I'm doing this on Riverside. So just like you, Riverside is a very good tool. I have a girl in New York helping me with cutting short videos out of my podcasts because I have now, due to consumer presence, my presence on Instagram, and her lovely task is to populate my Instagram and to really help me with the subtitles, with that everything is clean, but everything else, I'm doing this on my own.
I'm curious. How much do you pay for that service?
I don't want to. So I don't want to disclose the figure here, but I have quite a big transparency on what are the costs. I started with another provider which did not do a good service. They simply did not provide a good service, and they were probably twice as expensive.
Okay. Not to push or ask for too much, but are you comfortable discussing the cost of that other provider the previous one that wasn't as effective and efficient as this one. Does that make sense?
Why I've just told you it was twice as expensive,
Okay.
and I don't want to give you numbers here because I don't want to attract an army of people from your country or a neighbor country pitching me their services. I'm already dying on LinkedIn because on a daily basis I receive up to 20 emails.
Yeah.
And sometimes automated content trying to sell me stuff.
Yeah, I think what happens is once your podcast starts gaining traction, they just scrape your email from your RSS feed. So, so they just scrape your email from your RSS feed, and that's how they get your email. I get a lot of those messages too, and I've been trained to just ignore them.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes I'm getting really angry because, for example, on LinkedIn, so I have my PhD, my doctor title, because it's part of my legal name.
Yeah.
So I'm German by nation, so by passport, it's part of a legal name in Germany. And
Wait,
sometimes
I don't understand could you explain what you mean by that?
So on LinkedIn, my name is Dr. Anastassia Lauterbach. Why is this Dr. Anastassia Lauterbach? Because this is my legal name.
Wait.
For example, in Switzerland, doctor, so my title, my PhD is not part of the legal name. I'm simply Anastassia Lauterbach. Okay. And by the way, I know that I have a PhD. I don't need to kind of, put it on every window.
Yeah.
So in Germany, by my passport, it's part of my legal name. I have a professor title as well, but it's not part of my legal name.
Oh, wow. That's
For this reason, I don't put it out there, unlike many peers of mine.
Yeah.
So the doctor is part of my legal name and it is on my LinkedIn profile. And you just see that people have zero idea who I am. It's just an automated message. And they write me, hello, because doctor. And
that's crazy.
I mean, it's really, or for example, people addressing me, hello, Romy, Robbie. So then go and listen to my podcast first. And sometimes I'm forgiving, especially to the agents pitching me guests. Once I'm forgiving, but if it happens like twice, I'm blocking those agencies from my email account.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm just curious, since you started working with the lady in New York that's helping you with the shots, how do you feel free to talk about the performance of the Instagram and the podcast? I don't know if you're comfortable with that.
No, look, I built the Instagram before I hired her.
Okay.
So I generated probably around 15,000 followers within 15 months. Wow. So I really monitored how it was kind of, emerging, and it's really due to my use of the British shorthair. Because first I was just giving some little talks, 1-minute reels on AI. No one was interested. But then I started doing exactly the same, holding in arms my furry monster, 15,000 followers. So what can I say? People love cats. And right now I'm just like, please, could you add, for example, my title page of the podcast to this reel. So I don't want to do it, and this is why I kind of I hired her. But my startup it's not just the podcast, it's the book. I have clients. I've just started a major project for the House of Lords in the UK on AI literacy. I do everything myself, and I'm very prudent about costs. I'm profitable, I'm growing, but I'm very watchful around how much I spend. For a startup, everything is an expenditure. Yeah. How much do I travel? Where I show my face, right? And for this reason, online doesn't truly matter because, it doesn't cost anything but the bandwidth. Yeah. But if you have to travel somewhere, if you need to hire new people, you're really watchful. What are you spending money on? I sometimes need to buy data for my AI experiments. Sometimes, I need to organize events. And for this reason, I'm thinking twice on what to prioritize in my cost baseline.
Yeah, make perfect sense. So in essence, you're an indie. I guess I could use the word an indie podcaster.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not
absolutely.
corporately owned. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
absolutely not. And
Okay.
my content and my views would not be possible in corporate environment.
Well, wait. When you say it will not be possible, like, do you say that as it's a good thing? You're indie? Or...
It's a good thing. It's a good thing because I will give you one example.
Okay.
So I've been, I was running the business of Qualcomm in Europe. I was corporate myself. And sometimes, the AI universe right now is full of so-called AI wannabes. This is how I call them. Those are people who have never studied AI,
Yeah.
who have never spent time on AI basics, but they call themselves AI influencers and AI consultants. And this is how a lot of nonsense happen in corporate environment. In corporates, they have no idea. And how should they have an idea if they have never studied it? And this is actually tremendously important to clean the AI space from noise and to kind of, push people towards what is really happening, why we have this noise. I will give you two examples. So one example
Okay.
was I saw an announcement on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
an artificial consciousness foundation dedicated to artificial consciousness, and they are seeking consultants and they're seeking coaches. And
Okay.
I understand consulting business. I'm a former McKinsey. I understand coaching business because I mentor CEOs and I mentor quite known founders. So I reached out and I was thinking, okay, so interesting. So what do they do? And frankly, my assumption was that some former executive search partners put together their data and they built an LLM on top of it. And this LLM is used for appraisals. This was my assumption. I was wrong. So I reached out. As a response, I received my own appraisal. There was no exchange with me. There was no info. And of course, you can kind of, write my appraisal because there's so much public information about my persona on the web. And there are portions which might be scrapped from the web, but then actually I said, look, I did not ask for this. I really asked about your technology. And by the way, artificial consciousness, you can put any label you want, but it does not exist because of 1, 2, 3. And I was told then that they are a foundation, so they are non-profit.
Okay.
And they told me that obviously I was narrow-minded and not spiritual.
Ooh.
And the point is that there's nothing in the world which is for free. And foundations live from donations.
Yeah.
And I started looking into their financial profile because, I was running 4 billion euro P&L in my past. I understand finance. There were no published data.
Wow.
And I started reaching out to coaching associations, and they said, look, so we are aware it's not that we can do something about it, but it's tremendously dangerous because so many coaches, little coaches, are out of business. They're struggling to get customers. So they might be seduced to join something and then go on a rev share model with those guys.
Yeah.
And actually, the CHROs of companies, they are lazy. They don't want to dig deep to understand what is going on with the technology stack. And people who require coaching and who require work and mental health work, they might get hurt because people without understanding and without really professional ethos will kind of, play games with them. So this is one example. Another example was I was attending a keynote on AI, and the person was describing Waymo technologies, speaking about scalability and how more or less the day after tomorrow, every single city will be full of those self-driven cars. And as a person in AI, I mean, I was really shocked because I said, realizing that every drive in LA is actually of the cost of one transatlantic flight. And every single car is equipped with sensors, which are around $200,000 US. So this technology is not mature.
Yeah.
And the person was a professor And I was like, what is he teaching? And he was a professor of theology, of religion, not of AI.
Wow.
But he was
Not even
asked to
close.
join quite a prominent conference, and he was hired. And and this is where I'm kind of, ringing the bell. Please look into credentials of people who are saying they are AI experts. And this is why I would like to kind of, raise the baseline of the knowledge and understanding of AI in general population. Once this is achieved, there won't be cases like this one, and there will be less fraud and less scam. So as simple as that.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. Wow. Why I'm smiling, what keeps running in my head is like, prior to this conversation, I never knew that, doctor would be like, it's part of a legal name in Germany. So that's just what's running in my head when I'm listening. So I learned something new among many other things. Wow.
But it's just Germany. It's Germany and Austria. I'm not aware whether it's the case in other countries.
Okay. Well, I know that now. Okay. You talked about the podcast, and you talked about the formats, and you talked about, approaching the podcast as an indie and as a startup, mindful of the expenses you're spending on, so you're not just extravagant. It's not like a venture capitalist funding the business or any of those things where you can just burn money on anything you like. What are the plans you have for the podcast moving forward in terms of the content? You mentioned writing the quantum books, and then
Yeah.
I'd love to hear them, so that probably 1 year from now we could circle back and say, yeah, Dr. Anastasia, how's it going?
Now, look, so I would love to, at some point in time, probably after 150th episode,
Okay.
I would probably be in a space where I will be approaching people I truly want to interview and bringing them on my podcast.
Okay.
So it's not like the mainstream type of people, but some people with a lot of gravitas in the industry, like Jürgen Schmidhuber, like Anil Seth, so people like this. And it's just simply optimizing my delivery. So I'm still highly unsophisticated in how to use the light. So I will be dedicating a couple of days probably in this year to learn more about the technicalities around podcasting. It does not matter that much for the content, but it matters for the delivery, right? And just optimizing my production space, building a couple of agents helping me to streamline information. I consult, I'm on multiple emails, I'm on multiple platforms. This is simply very difficult to kind of arrange. So the hiccup which happened in between you and I with the time zone. So this is one of those which are kind of upsetting because, I have a lot of meetings, you have a lot of meetings, and we should be respectful of each other time. And I really apologize that I screw up with the time zone.
I understand. Technology.
Yeah. And I will not change the way I research because I will read all the papers, all the blogs when I podcast. If I am to interview a science fiction writer, so today I'm publishing a conversation with a sci-fi author from Australia, then of course I will read their books. I will never jump on a podcast or on an interview without understanding the background of a person. If I can't, and there's a conversation and the person was pitched, for example, as a dean of AI, but the person doesn't show me that he has a real understanding of AI. So once again, AI wannabe, I will thank this person, but I will not publish the episode.
Ooh, wow.
So because, not every episode will be tremendously strong. But it's like with everything, so we are improving, and I'm much more fluent in front of a screen, being an introvert as a person. as I was in April 24 when I did my very first episode.
Yeah.
And I won't stop. This is actually, I won't change the sequence. It will be one episode per week because, frankly, I'm currently producing an online AI literacy course for all. I'm doing keynotes. I'm training companies. I am planning to do webinars for certain segments of population. For example, women 45 years old plus, changing the career. What do they need to know about AI, or teenagers? And I'm planning to partner with companies who have STEM, AI, robotic education in mind. I've just partnered with Girls in Quantum. When I was partnering with them, I was thinking there are 5,000 girls worldwide learning quantum physics and quantum computing, but there are 8,000 girls in the world learning about it. And in the latest conference, the youngest speaker was 11 years old. And this is something I will support. I'm currently planning to partner with a company in India, which have fantastic content around logics and teaching children logics. And this is how I will evolve, through partnerships, through developing better content. At some point in time, developing my own LLM so kids can write their own Romy and Robbie stories. Once I have enough volume of language to put into such an LLM. So they are good plans. They are healthy, nothing outrageous. But simply keep moving and ensuring that the world understands and learns about AI.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your goals and some of the plans you have
You're
for the
welcome.
podcast. It will be fun to look back from 1 year, 2 years from now and say, Dr. Anastasia, wow, how did this turn out? You talked about this. I can't wait for that conversation. That'll be lovely. Where can listeners learn more about the courses, the work you're doing with AI, and also connect with
you? I can provide you some hyperlinks to my content. My website, I blog twice a week about AI on my website and on Substack. This is www.aiedutainment.ai. Please follow me on LinkedIn. I'm very approachable. And please join my Instagram channel at Romy and Robbie. So it's not Anastassia Lauterbach, but at Romy and Robbie. So this is my official Instagram channel. My book website is www.romyandrobbie.ai. You can order your copy there. So there are 3 formats, the paperback, the audiobook, and the ebook. The most, let's say, useful is the ebook because you can jump from the main narration to the sides behind section and back and access links to the third parties, which are not mine, which might be a lecture on computer vision from MIT, etc. And when I'm going to publish the second book, first I need to write it. Everything will be announced on my website and on my Instagram account. And Substack exists as well. So and please support my work because, frankly, it matters.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'll put the links mentioned in the description so the listeners can just click and go directly to the site. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Dr. Anastasia.
Thank you so much. And apologies again. Have fun and
you're
all
welcome.
the best with your podcast stories.
Yeah, thank you. That's it for today's episode of my podcast story. I hope you enjoyed listening to this journey as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps others discover the show. And don't forget to join the newsletter at mypodcaststory.com/join for more stories and podcasting insights. Until next time, keep telling your story because someone out there needs to hear it.